Alright, today we're going to talk about open source. Open source. It's the most soothing of all soothing editors because you can make it do whatever you want. And this is, I'm coding Matrix Eater in .hiveway, so I have Hiveway Matrix Eater, but we're just going to minimize that. So what we have here is a world editor, but it's open source. You know what that means? That means that you can make it do whatever you want, so you can have more fun that way. So this is a better and more fun game, and it's a world editor. Like, I can go in here and I can say, let's make ourselves a fun little world in the world. I think what we need is a new map, but apparently there's not a new map button. So I think maybe we should make one. I don't really know. Alright, we'll go back to this dirt here. We're gonna make the dirt. We're gonna blank out the map. Let's make a big square. Big square. Yeah, there we go. We're gonna blank out the map. Looks like we need to do a remove terrain deformation here. And then we'll turn that off. We'll go back to the cliff. We're eliminating the cliffs. There's some trees too. And some units. Am I allowed to place units in this editor? I don't even know. This is the most soothing of all soothing world editors because I've never used it before. Let's see. We'll put some put some terrain away. Now I wonder, does this remember my? Oh, it does. This is a really good world editor. It doesn't appear to have Control Z. Alright, so we'll put that back. Yeah, so our last step to making a clean map is units. We just need to delete the units, which it looks like we can't do. Somebody didn't give us the units. That's stressful. So let's just put something on top of them, like little fire pits or something. I don't really know. Let's see. I think Control Shift C is camera reset. So I'll reset my camera, and then I'm trying to put some of these. I don't know how to do this. Invisible, visible, non-solid, visible, solid. Selection mode. Oh hey, I can select all of these. Let's delete them. Oh, can I move them? I don't know. So because it's open source, we can go in the code and we can change how it works. Like, let's make this rectangle a triangle. That sounds soothing. When we select one of these, we'll make this rectangle a triangle. Someday it's going to be a circle. It's supposed to be a circle, but they didn't make a circle. I don't know why they didn't do that. So, I guess we have to save the map and close it in order to do that. I kind of wish I could delete some of these right now. It's not letting me do the delete key. Alright, let's save the map as. This is documents, Warcraft 3. Warcraft. Let's just put in Warcraft 3. This is gonna be soothing world next future. Okay, there we go. Soothing world next future. I mean, that already sounds really cool, but we're gonna make that when we select one of these, it's gonna be a triangle instead of a square. Isn't that really funny? Like, you would never think you could change how the world editor works, but we're gonna make a triangle because that's the glory of an open source world editor. We can make it do whatever we want. So we're gonna go in where it just says Hiveway right here. And one of the things you'll notice is when it starts up, it's making a model editor, and we don't want that model editor right now because this is not finished. We didn't code that. So we're going to get rid of that one by making it into a text comment so it won't run the code anymore. But that's okay. And now we got like the trigger editor in here, we got like the doodad palette. But what I want to do is really just go to the main Hiveway world where this guy renders, and it's probably in units rendering. I'm actually not sure. I have a lot to learn about the world editor, and that makes it that much more fun. when we're updating what we're rendering, you'll notice we render the units, and then we check and see. We get a mesh path, and we get something about the MDX extension, and here we got objects invalid model. That one's kind of fun. This loads the cube. This loads the cube on the map if you don't already have the cube loaded. It's interesting. So we have that, and that's pretty cool. But what we don't have yet is I didn't find where the rectangle is. I want to change it to a triangle because it's open source. I can do whatever I want. So we're gonna do that, and I didn't do it yet, but I know we're gonna find it. Let me tell you, we will find it. We're on an interesting quest, and I'm sure we'll find some interesting things before we get there. But we're gonna find it. So this is the render function. It renders units. So I was kind of thinking, you know, if this renders meshes, we gotta know where is there a selected unit. So let's go in our header files, and we're gonna try to find the selected units. And there's probably in here somewhere. If it's a waygate, if it's got a custom color, if it's got a type, if it's got a level, if it's got gold, mono, player, flag, scale, angle, position, variation, ID. These are some very interesting flags on a unit, but we don't see one yet for whether it's selected or not. So let's even go into units. So that's units render. What we really want is like a single unit rendering. So we'll go into this update function in units, and it looks like this is unit : update, but I don't see units : rendering anything about select. There's not anything about select here. So we're gonna go to the terrain editor, tile picker. Let's see, quad tree. No, it's not the quad tree. Utilities. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's that though. I really don't. It's probably in highway, right? Yeah, see, this has like the map. Does the map have a selected unit? It probably doesn't. Highway. It's okay. I've never really, I don't know this code base well yet. So I'm going pretty slow, but that's okay. That's why we call it Soothing World Editor. Because you can go pretty slow, and it's okay. Current custom tab. That's not what I want. So we don't want the map info editor either. It's not a menu, right? It's really more like a brush. It's like a doodad brush. That's right. I was thinking it's units, but you can't select units yet. Well, maybe we'll add the ability to select units, but I didn't do that yet. This is doodads. That's what I did wrong. I was forgetting. It's the doodad brush. So this is you move your mouse, and the doodad brush picks up on it, and it updates query area. Let's look at query area. See this one? If it is, it pushes it to the result. That makes total sense. We're onto it now, guys. We're onto it. This is the selections, right? Now, for everything in the selections, what we're gonna do is when we render them, we're gonna bind this buffer of vertices. This a shape that is a rectangle. That's the problem, and we want to make it be a triangle. Really, we want it to be a triangle, right? Because this is gonna ZL depth test is disabled, and it's gonna use the selection shader. And, oh, maybe we have to learn shader codes. This is a really fun project. I don't know the shader codes. I wrote Matrix Eater by messing around. Alright, so this is a line loop. This is a count of lines. So there's 4 lines. Now there's only going to be 3 lines. You know? But we're going to have vertex attrib pointer. So this is, what does this do? Make a vertex pointer with a null pointer. I'm pretty sure shapes is relevant here. Let's see, bind buffer, projection view, uniform matrix. Minus 0.5.5. I'm trying to figure out what this all means. I'm thinking through it. So we got our camera projection. We multiply that by the model to get where we're going. But like when we're binding our buffer, what is shapes vertex buffer? What is this guy? This is shapes. This is utilities. This is utilities, shapes, quad vertices. Well, who assigns this vertex buffer? This must be utilities C++. Vertex buffer. Create buffers. And is quad vertices. Index buffer. So I'm just gonna hack this guy, and instead of quad vertices, right, what we're gonna have is a triangle just the same. So this is gonna be tri vertices. This is gonna be tri vertices, right? That's what it's gonna be. And this is gonna be tri vertices down here. So he used to do 1 1 0 1 0 0 1 0. Now we're going to change that, because instead of 1 1 and then 0 1, we're just going to do 1/2 1, because that's what we want it to be. And that's what it's going to be. So we're going to put 1/2 in there. So now it's 1/2 1. And then 0 0. And then 1 0. And so what this means is that our triangles, it's not going to be 0, 3, and 1. We're just going to do 0, 1, 2, I think. And let's think carefully about this. So he did 0, 3, 1. So if you think about 1 1 0 1 0 0, he did 0 3 1. So it looks like we need to go clockwise. It's like right hand rule, like clockwise. So if we start at the top, we have to do 0 2 1. That's what we have to do. And that's gonna make a nice little triangle for us there. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go over here wherever this uses quad oh, this is the wrong one. Utils, wherever this does quad vertices, we're just gonna go in these quad vertices and we're gonna change it to tri vertices, and it's gonna be a triangle. Okay, just a happy little triangle. 3 points make a triangle. That's our favorite shape. Let's do it, folks. Do you understand what this means about World Editor? Do you understand what this means about World Editor? I have no idea if what I did is going to work, but whether it works is really not the point. It's the fact that I'm allowed to try. If you've ever used the World Editor of Blizzard, you're not allowed to try. You can't make selection a triangle, no matter how many years you tried. You're not allowed to try. And that's what makes me so happy about it. So clearly I just destroyed this whole thing, because clearly we needed to have quads in more than just one place. But let's go to doodads, and let me see if I go to selection mode. Can I select any? I cannot select any of these. They don't work. Alright, let's close that. It looks like maybe what I should do is put these quads back. Those are some good quads. You know what though? I was thinking that maybe we should make we should make another one of these. It should be something else. He's got a little buffer there. We need our own buffer. He has vertex buffer, index buffer. We're gonna have try vertex buffer, try index buffer. That's what we're gonna do. Because well, we don't want to actually break the system. And see this. I hope Blizzard keeps that in mind. It's like our friend. What's his name? There's a good friend. I've never met him. Bob Breidenbecker. He said, "Don't break the game." He's a smart man. He said, "Don't break the game." That's a good quote. I like that quote. That's a good quote. Don't break the game. What I'm doing right now, folks, is I'm breaking the game, and that's why Blizzard says I'm not allowed to break the game. It's really tough. It's really, really tough. But we're going to try to give ourselves a try vertex buffer and a try index buffer. Now that we have that, let's go back to our doodad brush, where we were making doodads, and we were doing it with render selection. Right here is what we found. It uses vertex buffer, and we want to do try vertex buffer. So let's try that. Now this, I think what this will do is it'll put back what we broke probably, but it might not give us triangles when we select things yet. So let's find out. This will be nice. That's right. We're going to find out. I don't know what will happen. It's like a new surprise every time. This is a soothing world out there. See, we brought back all the terrains. I think I destroyed the fundamental concept of a rectangle and turned it into a triangle, so everything broke. But I brought it back, so now the terrain can have rectangles again. So now we're going to go to the doodads, and we're going to go to selection mode, and we're going to try selecting some of these, and we're going to see that I can't seem to select any of them. Or maybe they are selected and I just don't know. I don't really know. I still have not figured out how to place a doodad either. I don't know how that works. But I don't need to know how that works. All I need to know is if I go in here. Oh, this says 2. I wonder if it needs to be a 1. A size. Let's do a size of 1. I don't know. Let's try a size of 1. Sometimes you change a 2 to a 1, and it makes all the difference. You never know. I mean, I definitely don't know. But it looks like that did not make all the difference. Oh, look at that! Look at that! We turned it into a line. We're making really good progress. We turned it into a line, just like that. So now all we need to do is we need to give ourselves 2 more lines to go up there. Now I wonder if we switch to the, I forget the button. Or we switch to this camera that lets us fly around. And what if we fly underground? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm underground. I wonder if my triangle look different from under the ground. It looks like my triangle looks the same under the ground. So I guess we'll go back above the ground. Okay, I'm back above the ground. Oh, it's interesting. If I hit that button, all the doodads disappear. That's just like the real world editor. Alright, let's see. So if I go... I don't know why I said real. That's, this is like when... It's like when somebody talked about classic WoW versus real WoW. You know, on some level, you have people that will... You just get used to thinking a certain way. And then when you realize that the way that you think is actually wrong, it takes a little bit. It takes a little bit to figure it out. Alright, well, that's pretty good. But we didn't make a triangle yet. This is an adventure. This is a triangle adventure. 2 points, make a triangle. And we only have 2 right now, and I don't know why. That's really interesting. But you know, I might know why. I was thinking about it. I don't know if they allow me to use a decimal point. I don't really know that. Because it says it's a float. Vertex pointer float. I mean, I wonder. Maybe my try vertex buffer. Maybe this needs to be a float. I don't know. I'm gonna put like floats in here. I'll make them all floats. I don't know. It doesn't tell me. The computer doesn't tell me. So we're just gonna guess. Ooh, it's a builder. No, I don't want to run the build. Well, it looks like I need decimal points on this stuff. So we gotta put in some decimal points. Excuse me for coughing. I figure it's all or nothing with the decimal points, folks. You know what I mean? You need everybody to have decimal points or nobody. So we're gonna do everybody. That's what we're gonna do. I don't know. I don't have to know what I'm doing. It's open source. I'm allowed to break it. And that's what's so good about it. This is really, I have to tell you, this is really the greatest program that I think I have ever seen. And it's probably better than the real world editor because it's more fun. Because I'm allowed to break it. Look at that. I didn't break it any further, but I didn't fix it either. Alright, well, that's fine. So maybe 021 is not correct. I mean, maybe it needs to be something else. I don't know. 021. It's 021. That's right, folks. It's 021. I don't know. I'm not too sure if that works or not. Size of integer. We're gonna do. Wait a minute here, friends. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put float in here because it's a float now. We don't have an unsigned float. Or it is a float. I don't know. We'll make it the size of float. I just had this weird feeling that I'm not correct in whatever I just changed. I didn't do anything. So, the size of float is not really correct. It used to be size of integer times 3. And now it's size of float times 3. This one's just doing a size of a vector. That's okay. Static draw. Oh, this one here is supposed to be indices. Oh, we can fix this, folks. We're gonna fix it right now. This is indices. I did this wrong. That's definitely supposed to be indices. Alright, let's change this back to unsigned integer. That was not correct. The other one is indices, folks. It's indices. It's vertices and indices. It's a grouping. It makes sense. It's just like the matrix heater. That makes sense. See, we're gonna have triangles and we're gonna celebrate because we can make the editor. Oh, we don't have triangles yet though. Well, that just means there's a little bit more to do. We didn't figure it all out yet. So we have our triangle buffer and we get the named buffer data. So this is the name, I guess. I think it's a binary name. And then we're gonna give it however many vertices times the size of a pair of numbers. And now we're gonna give it the data and something else. So that's pretty good. Let's check our data again. So these are the indices, or 3 of these, and this is 3 pairs of these. So that math adds up. That just seems like that's valid math. You know, 3 times 2 and 1 times 3 should be the right number. And we got a line. We got one line is being drawn. Let's try a let's try this. Let's try a triangle that's not. I was going for a certain shape of triangle that I liked. Let's try a different shape. So it's going to be a triangle up to the upper right hand corner instead of a triangle to the center. It's no longer going to be the center. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think we're going to find out. Because this is going to tell us if it's this is how you, sometimes you just test things, you know. Is it the fact that this is a half, that it doesn't allow a half? Or is it that our indices here are not correct and don't allow us to do 0, 2, 1? We're about to find out, folks, and that's going to be kind of fun. I can't tell you what the answer is going to be yet, but that's the mystery of the whole thing. It looks like it's the indice corruption and it's not a half. That's actually even more fun, because that means when we do figure it out, it's going to look how we want it to look. We just got to uncorrupt our indices a little bit right here. So our indices is 0, 2, 1. It looks like maybe it needs to be like 0, 1, 2. I don't really know. But we're going to find out, folks. So let's give it a shot. We'll see. And maybe that won't fix it. That's actually pretty possible that this won't fix it. But we're going to learn something interesting about why this doesn't fix it. Because every time we run one of these, we can learn something new. Let's see what we got. I don't know. I don't know what we got today. I don't know that. But we're going to find out. Here we are. We are going to find out. So what we see here is that I didn't change a thing. We're putting 0, 1, 2 instead of 0, 2, 1. It's actually a really interesting fact that didn't change a thing. I don't really know why. Well, that's probably okay. So these are our 3 numbers. And there's a vector of 30 parts. So there's a lot of things here that make good sense. That they are how they should be. I have the index buffer, so when we go up here, I have a tri-vertex buffer. What about the index buffer? Maybe there's an index buffer. I don't know. Nobody does the index buffer. That's right. We don't know who does the index buffer, folks. I don't know, and I don't think I need to know. Draw arrays. Load first. So what we do is we bind the vertex buffer. And then we give it attributes. Maybe this needs to go back to attribute. I did an attribute 2 before. I don't know. It used to be a 2 right here. Let's try that. It might be that. Maybe that needs to be a 2 right there. That might do it. Is that the count of the number of components in each vector, or is it the number of vectors of the index buffer? I'm not sure. I thought it was the number of vectors in the index buffer, but maybe it's actually a number of components in every vector. And if that's true, it needed to be a 2, folks. And so that might do it. But we'll find out. We're going to find out. We're going to find right out right now. We did it, folks. You see that? This is true human liberty. I said, let's put a triangle when we select the unit instead of a box. I didn't even know that that was possible. And we still did it. We still did it, guys. We made a triangle. This is a success story. 3 points make a triangle, and this is I changed the world editor. I could use this for the next 10 years of my life. I'd have a free triangle every time I do this. You make a little something, you build your life up, and your life can get really, really good. And that's how they made computers. And so what I'm telling you is that this is a really awesome triangle. Like, I am excited for this triangle, and I hope that you have enjoyed tonight. If you understand this triangle, just take a moment and think about how amazing Warcraft Reforged is gonna be, and how many triangles it's gonna have. I think that's really cool. So I hope you have a good night and a good one, and take you some care. Take care.